So it's been a while since I've been a teacher. I taught for 13 years, and I stopped teaching in 2012 when I became a full-time author. But my first year teaching, it was pretty wild. I had a student who could not keep his mouth shut in class and often talked at the wrong times. And as teachers, we've all had those kids. But because he got in trouble and he got detention, and he got detention in many teachers' classrooms, he decided that the issue was not that he had misbehaved, but that basically his teachers were out to get him. So he created a series of lies that he told his parents as rationale for why he was getting in trouble. The math teacher down the hall, she was crazy and talked to the cockroaches that were up in the ceiling lights in the classroom. And she talked to them and called them the ghost of her husband. Her husband was alive, by the way, but, you know, no one's going to stop the lies here. This student went on to tell his parents that I was a Satanist. I was a Satanist for a couple different reasons. Number one, because I wore black occasionally in the classroom. Number two, because I have a CD of music out. It's all classical music. But because some of the songs are in a minor key, that meant I was a Satan worshiper. So he went to his parents with these grand lies, and his parents believed him. So much so that they went to my principal and said that she needed to fire me immediately because I was a Satanist, and I apparently was sacrificing cats on the floor of my classroom during class and asking my students to hail Satan. Now, my principal heard this and burst out laughing because, number one, she knows that I've been a vegetarian and an animal rights activist for a very long time. And the idea that any of this would be anywhere remotely true is just comical. She also told them to get stuffed because even if I was a Satanist, that is a protected religious right in this country. So that wouldn't have really amounted to anything. They went to the superintendent and managed to convince him that they were telling the truth. So the superintendent actually believed these outlandish, crazy things and ended up coming to my principal and demanding that she fire me. And at the time, I had a principal who was a really awesome badass. And she was like, no, this is the line I will die on here. No, this is not happening. So it was a really interesting experience watching not only these parents totally believe their child, but also this superintendent who absolutely was determined to have me fired. And I actually had to threaten to sue for him to back down. He then spent the short amount of time in this district basically being afraid of me. He was terrified that I was going to like kill him or something. Later, it did come out that the student in question was a psychotic liar, and the parents later apologized. And we're like, wow, we had no idea our child was really fucked up, and we're really sorry that we put you through hell your first year teaching. So yeah, that was a really, I guess, tone-setting thing to have happen my first year. And it was something that did set the tone for the rest of my career teaching in Texas. Because as someone who is queer, who is neurodivergent and on the spectrum, who is disabled, I ran into a lot of adversity and complications of doing my job. And parents certainly didn't help. And so, you know, these are the kinds of stories that I decided to write about when I wrote Voices Carry, because I wanted to talk about what it's like being a teacher, not just in this day and age, but what it's like being a teacher when you're also queer, when you're also autistic, when you're also fill in the blank, because it was hard. And I still have PTSD from many, many of the things that I experienced teaching, while also trying to figure out who I was in terms of my gender and sexuality. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share that little story with you because it's one of many that I wrote about in Voices Carry. And we need to do better for our teachers, all of them.